Hello, welcome back, Box1 here, and today we're going to be looking at this. This is the LEGO Ninjago Brickmaster book. It features 4 builds, and we're going to be showing them all off today. It also comes with 2 figures, and a cool little story inside. So I do hope you'll enjoy this one, and I shall start with, the figures, and, the descriptions of them. And on the very first page, you actually do get your description of the figures. Cole, of course, you can pause and read if you'd like, and Lasha, and very cool snake here, and a very cool ninja. And if we actually look at the figures himself, this is Cole in his armored variant. I believe it was first shown in either late Season 1 or Season 2 of Ninjago, the series. And he comes with 2 golden swords, and I'll tell you why I don't have him on his back. He does have some cool little back printing that I wanted to show you. But I quite like the armored variant. This is the only one of the armored variant that I have. And I quite like it. I always liked them in the show as well. I thought they were interesting. So let's show you that back. And right in the middle of the armor there, you can see some nice gold printing on there for his symbol. So you can also put these swords in here. That's the reason why I don't have them in there, just so I could have shown you that. So let's actually put them in there so you can get the full look of Cole. And that's what he looks like. Pretty cool. And I quite like him looking like that as well. He does have a cool face print underneath, so I'll show you that. And you can see that it's just the classic Cole face print. Mine is a little bit of a ding out of it, but that's probably just for me playing with it for, well, since it came out in 2012. So yeah, pretty cool figure. And our next figure is Lasha, and it is a very cool snake. I quite like him, or her. I didn't actually check what it was. Okay, it is a he. But anyway, it's a pretty cool snake. It has a very cool scar in the eyes, so that's very cool. Has these things full of, I don't know, venom or something on him, as well as some more red accents on him, and some more scars, and the bandolier type thing going around him. He has also this very cool headpiece with the snake tail and all that. That was used on a couple figures in various colors. Obviously, all serpentine, but very cool, and I quite like this figure. He doesn't have, I guess he does have some back printing. I guess I'll just pop his head off to show you that. There. Very cool. He also does come with a knife, and it is that very nice knife that you've also seen on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Nia also had some of these knives in multiple sets. A very cool little weapon. But before we get on to the build, I would like to show you the information in the book. Obviously, it's a review of the book, so I have to show the whole thing. We have this, and this is just some information on the actual things that are going on here. Very cool, and also tells you a bit more about the serpentine, which you can pause and read at any of these parts that I showed here. And it does have some more information on the ninja as well in their updated armor, which is pretty cool. And just some cool stuff about Lloyd and all that. Very nice. And this is kind of on here. I'm keeping it down because the pages aren't creased and it's hard to keep them open. But yeah, you can pause and read at any of those things. Try to show you those. Very nice. There is another thing about the serpentine, though, with this page explaining some of their tribes. And I will move it to there so you can kind of read all that. As well as with the Venomari and the Anachondri, the Hypnobri, and finally the Constricti. Very nice. Finally, before the builds, we have some stuff about ninja training. You can read that if you'd like. Very nice. Some cool stuff. But, with that out of the way, we can now get on to our first build, Raid on the Snake Temple, which has a very cool bike and a very cool snake temple. And this is the build itself. The figures, obviously, are here, and they complement it quite well. And you get a very nice snake temple, as you would have guessed, and the blade bike. We'll look at the blade bike first, which has a very simple Technic construction, if it will focus, and you can see that with the wheels, and some nice little details on top as well, such as some just simple sloped pieces for the detailing. Details for details. And we have some blades, which kind of makes the name Blade Bike. He stands on there. He can sit technically, but he won't be able to really hold onto the handlebars as well. And it does use those older clips in that as well. Very cool and very simple bike, and it does work quite well, messing with the lighting here. But anyway, let's get on to the actual snake temple. And although it's not too complex, it is pretty cool. This has a very cool serpentine staff. The only serpentine, wow, I messed that up. Serpentine staff that I actually had up until recently. And yeah, it just sits there in the middle of this spinning thing. So you can kind of hide it from the ninja instead of it being visible there. There's two snakes on either side in green, which are very cool. Those are those very small snakes there. And there's also one in trans dark purple, which is a very weird color to have it in, but like, best thing I've ever seen in this set. It also has a nice printed snake piece, so you can use that on like a mock if you want. And it's here, made to represent a big snake. And you can see in the back, uses one of those big tail pieces, which are rubbery at the end. And it is a flick fire missile, if you were wondering, so I can't flick it with one hand really, but I can push it, and oops. It is on hinges, so it is a bit fragile, but wow. Very good, nice. We'll try and do that better. It's obviously much... There we go, that's pretty good. It's much better when you actually flick it, but still pretty nice. And if you want, you can take the big snake off. He's very simple. Just don't look at the back, and you'll be fine. It's very cool. I actually quite like this build. It's simple, yes, but it has a cool staff, it has a cool little turny thing, and has very cool pieces with this snake. And actually not too bad of a snake build, more like an anaconda for the actual small build like this. Very nice. And with the first build out of the way, we can get on to the second, which is the Serpentine Trap, where, you guessed it, they try to trap him. But it has some pretty cool features, it has some pretty cool builds, so let's build it up and then take a look at it. And the second build on, we have this, a very nice little car for Cole here, and it is called the Samurai Speeder. And then we have a very nice little Serpentine Trap, which is what that's called. It has a little snake here, not as big as the other one, but let's get into it. We'll look at Cole's car first, and then, of course, the Serpentine Trap. And although this car is pretty simple, it does have some pretty cool little details. It has a lot of swords on it, a lot of gold accents with those swords and certain knives and other stuff like that. It has 3 swords in the back, which gives it a very nice look back there. And it doesn't actually have a seat for the character. It actually has a tile here, and this is actually what holds it in place. It comes down like that. And I'll show you what that looks like with Cole right here. And I actually think it looks pretty good. It's pretty simple, but it's pretty good. And it does have these nice big wheels in the back, and then the smaller wheels kind of arced in on the front, which does look pretty good, or angled in. It wouldn't be an arc, but either way, very nice, and I quite like this little build. And the second part of the build is actually the Serpentine Trap. It has 2 snakes in the back with the nice printed element and the tail back here. Tail can move, of course, on that hinge there, and that's pretty cool. There's a little built-up barrier here, and that very nice translucent purple snake down there, and another flick fire missile on a turret this time, so you can shoot the snake, or no, it would be the snake shooting at you, but still, you can shoot at Cole with it. Put him here, and then just, if you try, perfect aim. And the actual snake head is also on a hinge, so you can actually lift it up and reveal the, what is his name? Lasha's weapon, which is in there. Kind of a cool feature. I forgot about that almost, but it's a very cool little hidden detail. Very nice. And with the second build out of the way, we can get on to the third, the Battle in the Skies, which actually has some nice air vehicles and a small little snake shrine. So, let's get into it and repurpose these builds. And the third build is pretty cool. It's different from all of the rest, being actually aircraft oriented with the Ninjacopter and the Venom Fighter, as well as the Snake Shrine in the middle. Let's take a look at the Ninjacopter here from Cole, and then we'll look at the snake stuff as well. Now, this one's pretty interesting because I believe, given the name, it's supposed to be a helicopter, but it doesn't really look like a helicopter, so I don't know what they were going for here with this thing. But it's a cool little plane-looking vehicle. It has some nice gold accents and some engines in the back as well. It's pretty simple though. It can hold one figure, so let's put him on there. And that is what it looks like with Cole in the Ninjacopter. Pretty cool. I do quite like the look of this as a plane, but not as a helicopter or whatever it's supposed to be. Still pretty cool though. The next set of things is pretty interesting. We have the Snake Shrine, which does have a little movie bit for some reason. I don't know why it moves, but it does. And, of course, the special staff, which is really bright for some reason. Very nice and pretty cool. Also, if you were wondering, this is supposed to have 3 leaves on it. Mine's just broken off the other 2, so I only have 1. Either way, pretty cool. Also from the snakes, as you saw, the what was it called? Venom Fighter, which does look pretty cool. I think it's much more accurate to what it sounds like. It has weapons on the sides, or over here, I guess, and some nice snakes in the back, which actually attach these to the ship. It's pretty cool. I actually quite like how it looks, and it has, of course, the snake in the front, on the front, and then the tail in the back, which is very nice. It can also sit in one figure, although his butt may be hanging out a bit, but yeah, he can sit in there, so let's put him in there. And it's pretty simple, but pretty cool, and I think it looks good with him in it. You can also see the nice little engines in the back, which I think do look pretty good. And although the builds are a bit weird for what they're supposed to be, I think they still are pretty cool, and it's nice to get some flight-oriented vehicles here. But let's move on to our final set of builds, the Snake Pit Peril, which is pretty cool. And with the 4th and last build, we actually have 4 builds here, and that being the Spinjitzu Cycle, the Ninja Weapons Store, the Snake Pit, and the Serpentine Pedestal. Starting with the Spinjitzu Bike and Ninja Weapons Store, we have this, and it's pretty simple. It's literally just storage for weapons. He has 2 swords up there and a knife. That's it. Moving quickly on to the actual bike, which is pretty interesting. It's a pretty nice build, actually. I think it looks pretty good, and is pretty good design as well. It has some nice gold accents, of course, using those weapons, and you can fit 1 figure on here, which is very cool. It uses the same technique for combining the 2 pieces of the motorcycle as the other, I believe, first set. And that's what that looks like. Pretty simple, of course, if it'll focus, but I don't think it's a terrible look. I think it looks pretty good, actually. I quite like this little motorcycle. Moving on to Lasha's side, we have the Snake Pit and the Serpentine Pedestal. We'll look at the pedestal first. It's very simple. It has a staff on top. It can spin. Yep. It's a spinning. And it has a tail in the back as well, with some clips. But yeah, very simple build here. There's not much else to say. The Snake Pit also is very simple. It has 3 snakes in it, being the nice translucent purple and the 2 green ones, lime green. And yeah, has the snake print on the front, and it's actually also functions as a ramp, so you can pretend and launch the motorcycle over, which is pretty cool, actually. I quite like that feature, and it does look pretty good. And that's basically it for the last build, or set of builds, I should say. It's very simple, and the ending is also very simple. In the other books I've shown off a Star Wars one, and then the other Ninjago one they released, they had a cool little comic panel at the end to show the ending. This is the ending of this one, literally combined with the build. That's literally it. He just says that. There's no cool ending comic, and that's it. But overall, I quite liked these books here, and they originally retailed for, well, 19 euros, or pounds, actually. I believe that's pounds, not euros. So I don't know what that is in dollars. I think probably $20 back then, which isn't bad. I actually got these for 15 at a thrift store, so all of them that I have, and I believe I have 5 or 4. But anyway, I didn't think it's a bad set. I do think the story is a bit lacking, especially towards the end. I quite like the story of the other Ninjago one they released a year previous to this one, with Kai. But yeah, I like this book. I like these books. I like all of these books, actually. I think they're just fun. And this one actually gets a name. The other one didn't have a name. But anyway, I do hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next time, where I don't know what we'll be looking at, but hopefully something interesting. I shall see you then, and goodbye.